Alright, so I'm back, and today we are going to be taking a look at the three Razorclaws from the three different companies. We got Unique Toys, Mastermind Creations, and TFC. And what we're going to do is, I got the board out. We got 10 categories that all of them will be rated on, and it will be a possibility for them to win multiple ones. Depending on things. But we're going to scale, transformation, kibble, playability, robot, beast mode, combined mode, overall style, G1, and weapons / accessories. So we'll be looking at every aspect of it and decide which one is just the better version of Razorclaw. Getting things started in the beast modes. As you can see, Unique Toys here. He's definitely the smallest in this mode, and he's definitely, I guess, I would say more G1 accurate to a point. It is what it is. Dinky tail, overly large head, and just kind of a robot thrown on its side. Mastermind Creations here. He's almost as big as TFC, but not quite. And he's got a lot of stuff going on, but one of the advantages of this one is the fact that you can remove these weapons and set them off to the side. And you can even remove this plate here. So it looks a lot more streamlined once you do that, which I do appreciate. And then TFCs, you can't remove like this plate. You can remove the guns if you want to, but you can see he's the biggest of the three, and he definitely looks really nice. So for beast mode, automatically Unique Toys is out. So it really boils down to these two, and which one is better. And in my opinion, and of course, this is my opinion. This isn't fact. This isn't like, okay, this is, it's not like just everyone knows that this is right. But in my opinion, I do like aspects of this guy a lot. I think he looks really good in his beast mode. But I'm going to give it to Mastermind Creations. I like his legs, his front legs better. His lion head looks pretty cool. But the mouth doesn't open very far. Just barely, pretty much. His opens a lot further, which is really nice. But even though I like his legs better and his feet much better than his feet, the thing that really sells me on this one is the fact that you can remove the combiner kibble if you want to, or you can put it on. You cannot remove it, and this one you cannot put it on. So like Mastermind Creations had all these things attached to him to begin with. TFC also comes with the sword, which cannot attach in this mode. And Unique Toys comes with the front skirt, side skirts, and back skirt. Cannot put that on in this mode. He comes with the little sword. Cannot put that on. Party King's head. Cannot put that on. Pretty King's sword, which you can't put on, and the Predaking wings, which again you can't. You actually could put these on if you wanted to, but it looks really goofy. So I give it to Mastermind Creations because, again, like I said, you can put all the combined kibble on him if you want to, or you can have it off. He's a perfect blended between the two, like where combiner kibble doesn't come off, but you still can't store the sword. All the combiner kibble comes off, but you cannot put it back on, really. And you can either put it on or take it off, whichever you prefer. So for beast mode, that's 1 point for Mastermind Creations. TFC's close second. I really like that line mode. I think it really looks good. And Unique Toys falls completely short on this one. So there's that first point. We'll get these guys into robot mode and go from there. Alright, so we're back in. Now they're all in robot mode. So you can see the differences between these guys. Now, I will give out the point for scale on this one. Now, the scale is for these robots here and how well they scale with classics and whatnot. It is not scale as in the combined mode, because we won't really be able to look at that until we have a combined mode to look at. So for scale, here is the Seeker mold, and here is the Gear Seeker mold. Let's see how they stack up there. Of course, everything falls over. And so yeah, I'm gonna actually give two different robots a point for this one. I'm gonna give 1 point for scale to the Unique Toys, because if you're looking for classic scale and you've got the classic Seekers, yeah, let me grab Megatron. And you're using classic Megatron and the classic Seeker mold. Unique Toys is probably the best way to go. Because he's definitely he's definitely a Voyager. Megatron's just a little bit taller than him, and you can see how he stacks up with the Seeker mold. He's shorter than Starscream, which means than the Gear Starscream, which means he doesn't quite fit in the scale there. Whereas the Mastermind Creations one is a little bit taller than Starscream, and that's about where I would say the commander of a combiner team should be. A little bit bigger than Starscream. He doesn't really quite scale in very well with the classics Megatron, so hopefully Hegemon fixes that at some point. And of course, we got TFC Toys back there, who's not in scale with anything other than perhaps... I wouldn't even put him in scale with Masterpiece Dinobots, because he's about the size of a Masterpiece Dinobot, and he shouldn't be the size of a Masterpiece Dinobot, even if he was a Masterpiece figure. And he's not Masterpiece quality whatsoever. I'm not insulting it, but he's closer to a Masterpiece design, but still falls short. And he's just nowhere near Masterpiece. Nobody on this table is Masterpiece skill level. But anyway, for scale, I'm also going to give one to Mastermind Creations. just because both him and Unique Toys, they fit into a classic scale depending on which classic scale you're going with. If you're going with the Classic Seeker, I don't think the Classic Seeker works well with Mastermind Creations, but it works well with Unique Toys. If you got the iGear Seeker, it works well with the Mastermind Creations, but not Unique Toys or TFC. So there's that. So we'll get these guys out of the way. And we're going to go, let's see. We're going to actually knock out most of these things while they're in this mode, and then we'll show up combined mode at the end. Let's go transformation. He is incredibly simple. If you watch my review of him, he's very, very simple. Very straightforward, you know, what you see is what you get kind of guy. I like it to an extent because it is kind of true to a G1 Unique Toys standard, or a G1 Razorclaw standard, so he's pretty good. But you lose some aspects of Lion mode because of that. Mastermind Creations is the most complex of the three, but everything locks together much better. I still don't like the feet, but he is still a really well designed figure, and he just has this build quality that's like I said, he's almost a masterpiece quality figure. TFC. For the transformation, I'm also talking about... His hand came off. Yay! For transformation, I'm also going into the whole... just how well it transforms. He transforms very well. He transforms very well. And as you guys know, hopefully you've seen my review of it. That's really stupid that came off. He does not transform very well. The lion's head doesn't really click in anywhere. These wings really kind of hinder things, or the mane hinders things, and the fact that it sticks out further than the shoulders do, it does hinder mobility in the shoulders. The chest here, which is one of those things I really, really hated, doesn't lock in at all. The legs do lock in. You have to give them a really good push, but they do fit back in. But because the chest doesn't lock in, and he's very back heavy, as you can see. Actually, he's not back heavy, he's just not stable, is the problem with him. So he's simple. It sacrifices a little bit of line mode, but it still works for transformation, and he's very well engineered. So again, for the transformation, I'm going to give a point to both of them because they both lock in very well. They both do what they're supposed to do very well. TFC doesn't get a point because of the fact that things don't quite fit right together. And they just kind of... It falls short of what TFC usually puts out. Alright, Kibble. They all have Kibble. Unique Toys, Unique Toys doesn't really have Kibble because it doesn't click onto him. It just sits off to the side. So he's not going to get a point because of the fact that it does cheat, and the fact that all of this just sits on the side. Mastermind Creations is the most Kibble-y of them all. He... Hey! he's just got a lot of kibble. Yes, it does work in a lot of modes, but you know, like when these pieces here click into his guns, they don't hold in very well, like they probably should. And these pieces here can plug into the bottom of his giant, overly sized cleavers, but it doesn't look very good. So, you know, and he's got this piece that, you know, he can detach. It sits on his back, but you can also detach it, put it on his arm as a shield. It doesn't work so well. I mean, it works. It's great that they put everything together, but I think as far as just straight up kibble, it's a little clumsy overall. He just cheats. His is clumsy. TFC, this is where TFC does shine, is the fact that you know, he's got his combined modes on him, and it's this piece right here that's the main difference. Everything else hides very well, and you know, it just works for him. So when it comes to the kibble, I think TFC's Razorclaw does the best on containing everything into one mode and not having to remove parts or put parts somewhere else, whereas the Mastermind Creations does, and Unique Toys just totally drops everything. He just contains it better, I think. So, 1 point for TFC. Playability. This goes into how well these guys, you know, how well you can play with these guys. And ultimately, what I gotta say here is the fact that that's annoying. Mastermind Creations transformation is the most complex of them all. That being said, he's not difficult at all to transform, but he's fun to transform. He pulls off both modes very well, and I think playability wise, he's a very good toy. That's what we're looking for. You know, what's a good toy here? Unique Toys, because things come off and you can repose things, you know, give him his sword here. He's a fun toy. TFC has a few annoying little bits, but kind of Mastermind and Unique Toys does too. Again, though, just sitting around messing with him, he's a fun toy. So they're actually all three going to get a point for being a good toy. And having good playability. Robot mode. Where to begin with robot mode? Okay. First, Unique Toys. He does pull off a really good robot mode. If you're looking for more G1 style. Mastermind Creations, he definitely has that G1 look and vibe to him, but he's also got this updated feel as well. He just is a good, updated, pretty damn good look on his robot mode. He looks intimidating. He's got a lot of weapons that work with him, and just all around he's just more of a solid robot. TFC, as you can see, he's having some issues standing. And I liked his head design better than anybody else's, truthfully, but he, because of the size, he just looks a little goofy. And his cannon keeps twisting. I think it's throwing him off balance though when I put it up right. So he just looks a little goofy. The fact that, you know, he just doesn't quite pull off a very good robot mode in comparison to Mastermind Creations. Hell, I'd probably give it to Unique Toys before I would give it to TFC. So for robot mode, the winner of this one's going to be Mastermind Creations. I think the robot mode just looks more solid. Just overall, just looks good. And weapons and accessories will be the last one before we go into the actual combined mode. When it really boils down to weapons and accessories, well, actually, I think we have to go into combined mode because of Unique Toys. Otherwise, it's not fair. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to get these guys into combined mode and give my opinions on those. Alright, and to complete things off, here they are in their combined modes. So, let's see. Start bringing him up close. I'm going to take a look at him. As you can see, because he cheats on a lot of levels, this isn't about, like, yeah, it's not just necessarily that he cheats, but it still looks so good with those wings on there that don't compromise Dive Bomb at all. And the head sculpt is amazing. It's a very good update to G1 Predaking. Lion head fits really well here. Just all around, just looks great. Just Unique Toys really pulled this off in combined mode. I know they kind of fell short a couple times on their the individual line mode, but the combined mode does look pretty good. Bringing up Mastermind Creations here. Again, he looks really good as well. Not a whole lot going on here. You see, this is going to be where the wings plug in. The legs do look a little hollowed, but you can take this panel here and fold it down and just kind of help cover that up. But you can't really cover the entire thing up. It's always going to be there like that. But it looks really good. Just from the side, you got some hollow bits going on there. But yeah, again, head sculpt is amazing. Really like it. And he does have a light up eye. Don't know how well that's coming off. Oh, that's coming off pretty good. When it's dark, the whole head lights up, so it's kind of garish, but not too bad. The head kind of looks up and down, but it doesn't really get any side-to-side motions because of the way it's kind of set in there. You can pull it out a little bit, but then you start pulling the robot head out of the bottom, and you don't get a whole lot more posability with that when you do that. So it's best just to kind of leave it how it is, really. But it does look nice, especially with that mane extended there. And again, lion mouth can open. It looks really good this way. And obviously none of these guys have much balance going with them. And then last, and in my opinion least, here's the TFC one. Head sculpt is, in comparison to the other two, the head sculpt is honestly atrocious. The antenna, you can see like on him, his antenna are really long. He's got a well sculpted visor. Their mouth plate looks pretty good. And this one, again, sculpted mouth plate, long antenna. Whereas he's got these dinky little antenna that actually slide back in to make them shorter. They come out just a tiny bit. And this piece has a tendency of not wanting to stay in place either. It doesn't lock in. Like a lot of things on this thing doesn't lock in. The head doesn't lock in. These wings don't lock in. The robot head doesn't really lock in. I mean, it kind of slots in, but it doesn't really hold very well. And the back cannons are goofy looking. But he does have a good mass to him. But as you can see, and I know this isn't very accurate because we don't see the limbs, but the Mastermind Creation one is still a hair taller in this mode, or is now a hair taller. And setting him down, moving Unique Toys up. Again, Mastermind Creations is taller, but part of that is also due to the fact that he's got port holes where the combined modes plug in, and he's got ports. So, let's see. Moving these down. There we go. And they're actually not that far off from each other now. It looks bigger on camera than it is in person. His head comes up just a little bit above his head. So, and the wings look really nice on this one, because and it doesn't compromise dive bomb, like I said. So, for combined mode, I'm actually going to give both these guys a point. I know he cheated a little bit because all his stuff is on the side. The wings, the waist piece, the skirtings, the head, it's all add-on parts that he comes with. Whereas he's all contained in one figure. So, and then he's just, he's just not quite in the same level as the other two. The cannons are, they're cool, they're big, but I kind of prefer these littler ones like he has. And these ones you can extend as well a little bit, but you don't have to because they look good still. I mean, they're not. They were always like long and thin. They were never big and bulky. And his, again, long and thin, and you can extend them out a little bit. You can see, it's not much, but it does extend out a little bit. There we go. And he looks nice. So, like I said, I'm giving a point to both Unique Toys and Mastermind Creations on combined mode. Style. Let's get these guys kind of set up so you can actually see what we're talking about here. As far as style goes, I would say the one that looks the best when it comes to an updated look goes to Mastermind Creations. Overall, the Beast mode, the Robot mode, Combined mode just look like an updated G1 version of Razorclaw. TFC just it doesn't work as well as Mastermind Creations does. So Mastermind Creation gets this point. Reason why I'm not bringing Unique Toys into that is because they work in a updated, more or less just G1 styled figure. Um, it looks like the G1 figure a lot. And it works that way. So he gets the G1 point, which TFC's in the way here. Now, TFC, it just, and the other thing about TFC is, one thing I have concern for is the fact that he's so much bigger and bulkier than all the other combiners here, and the mass TFC combiners I've have. But it uses the same ports, which on the surface is a good thing because it's compatible with Devastator and the Superion and all that. It's compatible with that, but I feel that the ports are too small to really be as effective. It's almost like Power Core Combiner ports going on with him. He's got ports that work. I know they work. I know those ones work because I've made the figure many times, and they're port holes as opposed to plugs that come out. And I haven't tried the Mastermind Creations plugs, but you can see that they're bigger. They're also spring loaded. That much I can tell. Because these little pieces right here, you can push them in and they pop right back out. You can't push them in very far, but they do push in. And it's just, it feels, I feel that this is going to be a better option in the long run than these little ports here, which are actually updated versions of the Energon combiners. So you can actually plug. And this guy's all busted up, but you can plug him in there, maybe. So, you can plug him in there, which, adds a little bit of playability because you can kind of mix and match Scramble City. But when we're talking about Predaking, he's not a Scramble City combiner. So he shouldn't have Scramble City combiner parts. I understand that they want to keep what they're doing, but I think they needed to make bigger ports for their Predaking if they're going to make them this much bigger. As far as weapons and accessories go, Unique Toys, you see all the accessories on him right now. Because these all came in the in the Razorclaw package. He came with the head, the wings, the shoulder cannons, waist piece, back piece. Came with this sword, which, it's one of those you can't do anything with it when he's in combined mode, so it just kind of sits to the side. It's not terrible, because G1 had a lot of those, where, you transform them from car to, or you go from robot to car, and then all of his weapons would sit on the side. I wish there was better integration with it, but at the same time, it doesn't compromise the sword. I appreciate Mastermind Creations' giant meat cleavers that he has, but ultimately, I think that kind of detracts from the fact that he's supposed to have a broadsword. So that just kind of detracts from it. This sword is shaping up really well, and this is just from what Razorclaw comes with. I'm not showing off what other parts I have that go to the sword. It's just, this is what I have with this character, because this is the only character we're looking at right now. I appreciate it, and it's probably going to look great when it's in full combine mode, but it does kind of detract from his individual weapon a bit. Unique Toys also comes with this sword for the Predaking, and this thing looks incredible. This one's going to be bigger, but this one is more of a scimitar, and it's just wicked looking, really wicked cool. I really dig this. And then we get into the TFC one, which, again, you know, we're not looking at the full combined version of the sword, but you know, you can flip out this handle, and this is what will be the handle for the sword in combined mode. And I mean, it's kind of ridiculous looking. And then his tail, unlike the other two, his tail just goes off to the side. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of an updated version of this sword, and it does integrate better, but it looks really plain. I mean, this thing's got, you know, it's got a lot of detail going on with it. And I drop it, and I can't reach it. And this thing has an incredible amount of detail. So, I mean, when you compare this sword and this sword, you know, one can debate, you know, which one's better and which one's worse. It's, you know, this one looks cooler, this one's going to be bigger, whichever one you prefer. Whereas this one is really going to, it's easily going to be the third place sword. So, you know, I mean, having a weapon go off to the side because you can't do anything with it is one thing, but having a piece of one of the modes not go anywhere, that's I mean, that's kind of lame. I mean, I'm sure we could just plug it in to the porthole that it came out of, and he can have a tail in Predaking mode. Let's see if we can. Well, it's an unfortunate placing because the porthole's on the front now, so you can plug it in, and that just doesn't look right. I'm sorry. That just didn't think that one out very well. So it's interesting that the smallest one, the medium one, and the biggest one, when they're in the combined modes, they actually are about the same size. And Unique Toys does have both beat with posability on the head. It's a really great posability. So weapons and accessories, I'm going to give a point to both Unique Toys and Mastermind Creations because they are very well thought out. Despite, you know, I'm kind of torn on the big sword. I'm not the biggest fan of the big cleavers. I still think that it does its job very well. And then Unique Toys, you know, despite the fact that, you know, all that stuff that makes him look really good, just on pegs and just sits to the side when he's in robot mode or lion mode. You know, that's unfortunate, but at the same time, it still works so well when you get it all together. So, one there and one there. So, in the end, when it comes to Razorclaw, this is not Predaking. You can't see that very well, but the Mastermind Creations has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mastermind Creations is 8 out of 10 with what I rated it on. TFC is 2 out of 10. And Unique Toys is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10. So the winner of the Razorclaw is Mastermind Creations. Followed by the Unique Toys. So when it really comes down to just, if we're just talking about Razorclaw, I think the ultimate decision one has to make is, do you want to have one that's better scaled for classics with the classic seekers, or with the eye gear seekers? That's what the ultimate question boils down to. This one's engineered better. It feels more solid. This one has, I would say, a little bit more playability than this one. It's interesting that, you know, the way they did the add-on kits. It's almost like, you know, Crazy Debbie's add-on kits, but they're included in the set. So there you go. Unique Toys is almost as good as Mastermind Creations. TFC falls completely short. So yeah, question of the day is going to obviously be, which one do you think is better? Am I not? Do you guys think I'm not giving enough credit to TFC, or do you think I'm giving too much credit to Unique Toys? Question of the day. Other than that, have a good night, and I am done with this video.